Okay, we are going live here in a second on YouTube, giving people a chance to come on. And I've got some great beers I'm going to be discussing tonight. I'm just going to wait for a few more people to come on here. So I sent out a lot of invitations and stuff like that. So give me 1 minute here. And okay, I sent out a lot of invitations. Good. We're rocking and rolling. I just wanted to make sure I had a monitor on. Got a lot of good things to talk about. Hi, my name is Claude Diamond, Beer with Claude. We haven't done this. I can't even remember the last time we've done this. I've been busy. I run my own business with my wife, been doing it for 32 years. Sales, training, marketing, real estate. We mentor people in it. I basically share all the stupid things I've done in life so you don't do them. And I've shared the things that have created a wonderful contemporary lifestyle. But tonight we're going to talk about beer. Now, I'm not a fancy pants guy. I like Coors. This is my Coors and Miller High Life. I love these beers. They're my go-to beers. I run 10 miles. Now, let me tell you something. I run average 10 miles a day. I do some treadmill. I do some trail running. I mix it up. Usually it's 1 or 2 different runs. I swim 20 to 30 laps a day. Hey, your Uncle Claude wants to stay young and beautiful for you. By the way, if anybody would like to join us here, let me put on the screen here the link for you guys. Just go to Claude Diamond. Just go to zoomclaude.com and you can come right on and join me. And show me what you're drinking, or we can talk about beer, we can talk about business, or anything you really like here. Let me just go to my, I'm going to go to my YouTube page here for a second and post in a little something. Let's see here. Bear with me. And there we go. Just want to put in a little post there, so if anyone wanted to join me, they could. And if you have any questions or anything, feel free to do it. Let's go right here. Oh, Chris Lopez is in the building. How you doing, Chris? Yeah, anybody wants to join me? Let me put that in there. www.zoomclaude.com. I got some great beers to talk about today. Let me just type in this in Zoom. CLAUDE. There we go. So if anyone wants to join me, there you go. I'm in Winter Park, Colorado. We're in a little ski mountain town. I live here part of the year. Part of the year, I live in San Diego. And another part of the year, I live in Pinehurst, North Carolina. One of my favorite beers, I told you, my good old daily drinking beer is nothing more. And if you have a question or anything, my YouTube people, feel free to post it in there. My good old drinking beer. I love Coors. I think it's just a great beer for the money and the value and everything. When I make a sale, I always treat myself to a great beer, Pliny the Elder. This is a great beer, a little pricey. It's Russian River Brewing Company, Santa Rosa in Windsor. And it's hard to find, but I found a liquor store here in Colorado that actually stocks it. It's a great liquor store. You go inside, there's 2 big huskies there. They want you to play with them. It's Colorado. You know, it's something about stores out here have to have big dogs. They call it big dog country. I think there's a beer company called Big Dog or something like that. This is just an excellent beer. You got to drink it fresh. It even has a date on it and everything about when, there it is, when it was bottled. And just to show you guys here. So you can't take this in and out of the fridge. Do you guys remember when beer, particularly Coors, this is one of my pet peeves. Coors used to only be, you could only get it in certain places if you remember the good old Smokey and the Bandit days. Okay. And it had to be refrigerated. That was their big problem, distribution with refrigeration. So they had to use big refrigerated trucks on it. And that was the whole Smokey and the Bandit. I almost said Burt Lancaster. Burt Reynolds did that movie. And so to me, beer tastes better when it's a perishable product. And I look for beers that have the date on them. Let me just share this with you. This one's good till January 29th, 2024. If a company hides this or doesn't put it on, you don't know how old the beer is. It could have been sitting on the shelf. It could have been moved around since 2005. Okay. You can taste the beer when it tastes lousy, when it gets old and everything. Drink fresh beer. And shame on these companies that hides this stuff. I learned this from my friend, Louisiana Beer Review, Ron, and it got me looking for it. Now, the beer I want to talk about tonight, finally got to it. The liquor store I went into where I buy this Pliny, $8.99. And I was going, you can only buy 2 bottles at a time, by the way. That's how popular this is. I found another beer. I really like it. It's from the Maine Beer Company. This one I've never had before. They have another one called Monday. This one is called Lunch. They're Indian Pale Ales. The other one that I had was fantastic, and the person in the liquor store said, Claude, if you like Pliny, which is on the West Coast, you'll love this Maine Beer Company. Also $8.99. Then you add in the tax and everything. Before you know it, you got a $9, and my taxes are very high up here in Colorado. They're 11.2% in my little ski town here. So a little $8.99 all of a sudden can change to $10.25, something like that. But if you had a good week in sales, which I did, you treat yourself something special. Let me show you a little bit about this company. I'm going to share my screen here with you guys and see if I can find this. Hopefully you can see. Here it is, the Maine Beer Company. Got a great web page. I love it. I love these little mom and pops things. It's not a mom and pop, believe me. Look at his tasting room from this company. Tell me that isn't amazing. I mean, that's got to be a multi-million-dollar tasting room. Don't you love? I mean, let's look at the menu on it. I mean, their beers are fantastic. These are premium, great beers that they make. And let's just see. Let's get hungry here. Okay. I mean, I'm going to have dinner tonight. I'm just to share with you guys. My dinner tonight is tacos, and my wife Claudia makes great tacos. They always have these little pizzas, oyster, mushroom, and truffle. Oh, would that go? That sounds like that's a $23 pizza. All right, look at that puppy, huh? Sausage and calabron chili. I don't know if I'd try that. That's a risky. All the Caesar salads, the breadsticks, crispy goat cheese. Interesting. Warmed olives. What else do they got here? Draft. Well, let's see what they have on draft here. Whoops. Another one. That's an IPA at 7%. Fall. A coffee stout. Oh, only 5 or 6%. Little whaleboat lunch, which is what I'm having today. Peeper, Wolfneck, and Zoe. Dinner and second dinner. Look at these things go up to. I don't know what DIPA is. If you know what that stands for, let me know. Okay, 8%, 8.2%. The one I have here, and I had another one. I think it was called Monday. Let's see if there's anything else here that we can look at from this beer company. Yeah, Maine Beer Company. I'm anticipating this is going to be a great beer just because I've had their other beers before. They got their little story here. I love this. On May 2006, I was traveling to Everglades National Park with my dad, wife, Heidi, and my daughter, Zoe. And I mentioned to my dad that I would start a brewery. Now, I don't know about you. That's a big undertaking. And let's see, he did his research for his business ideas. There he is with his brother, Daniel, who went down to Boston for law school. I'm a recovering attorney also, by the way. And here it looks like they started out of their garage. See, I love stories like this. I love this. We got a bit more serious and drove through 3 hours each way to pick up my home brew for $300 that we found on Craigslist. I love a story like this, don't you? And it finally hit me. My brother really loved brewing. He had a job and school debt, but I figured I would ask anyway. Do you want to be a lawyer or a brewer for the rest of your life? I kind of had the same epiphany, by the way. We worked on a single recipe over and over. Peeper was born. I have not tried that. I'll try that another time and share it with you guys. I hit the streets with a small, cheap cooler filled with Peeper. That is how. Oh God, help me. What's the name of that one beer? Help me out, guys. John Adams. I think the John Adams beer started out just like that, door-to-door delivery. Look at that. And they got bigger and bigger and bigger. And you guys can go to this webpage here. Go to mainbeercompany.com. Looks like just a really nice family business there. Check them out. Okay, we're going to go back to me now. I'm dying to try this. How about you? You guys ready for a sip of lunch? Got my favorite brewery, the Fraser River Brewing Company here in Winter Park, Colorado, with my favorite Wyoming, go Pokes. That's if you're familiar with Wyoming, that's what they have. They have the cowboy and the horse on every license plate. There, I love the West. I'm a New York City boy, and I live in Colorado. I love Wyoming and everything. Let's have this beer. Let's pour this, and I pour it hard and fast, guys. I like the foam. I like the smell that comes off. Look at that. Look at that color. Isn't that? Oh, the smell. I haven't even put my nose to it. This is strong stuff. Whoa. What is the let's see if we can get the what's the IP? This is 7% alcohol by volume. Oh, and they have there's the date. Yay. Okay, September 2023 is when it was bottled. So this is October, and so we know we're gonna look at that foamy head here. Oh God, look at that color. I'm trying to describe it. What is it's not copper. It's God, what is it's a rich, it's like a gold almost. It's a gold. That's what I'd call it now. Oh yeah, the aroma. Yes, can you believe a beer is so good? A $10 bottle of beer. Okay. I like what they have on the bottom, by the way. It says, do what's right. I like stuff like that. I like one of my favorite beers. Let me get out of this share thing here for a little while. One of my favorite beers is Arrogant Bastard, and their logo is "You Are Not Worthy." Can you believe that? By the way, if you want to join me right now, go to zoomclaude.com. That's all you got to do. Come on and share the screen. Show it. We can drink. You can ask me anything you want about real estate investing, sales. I'm the author of the G.U.T.S sales method. I'll give you guys a tip. Nobody knows this yet, except my wife. I'm writing a new book. It is a sales lease purchase business novel. If we have time today, I'll show it to you. Do you want to see it? I don't know if you want to see it or not. Got to give me some feedback here. I thrive on questions and participation, but I'm writing a new book. I'm on chapter 2. I have 4 more chapters to write. It's a good story about a couple guys getting into real estate, and they want to open up. They're going to open up eventually a really special. Take this old haunted house, and try to turn it into a profitable venture. Look at it. The head's still there while I'm blabbing away. To your health, good health, prosperity, fortune. Okay. Make decisions wisely. Don't listen to all these people on the internet and YouTube. Okay, make your own judgments, because you know what? You'll always do the right thing. You're smart people. You're good-looking people. That's called a stroke. And nobody deserves success. I always say this: nobody deserves success more than you good people in this great country. Amen. To your health. I'm prosit, l'chaim, kampau. I don't know what else is. Did I say salute? Okay. We're drinking a lunch Indian Pale Ale. Oh, What a lovely mouthfeel. Now, I had this in the freezer. A lot of people don't like when I say that, but I throw my beers, depending on the alcohol, like a good old Coors or something, 15 minutes in the freezer. Otherwise, it'll turn to ice. And I actually like it with a little ice formed in it. I actually like that. I had this in the freezer for about a half hour because the alcohol's a lot higher. This is 7%. I think the Coors is 4 point something. They always hide this stuff. I don't know why. Coors, it's about 4.24. I think it's 4.4 actually. This is good. What a mouthfeel. Excuse me while I have another. This is delicious. Great mouthfeel. You can taste the it's a, how do I describe it? It's the typical citrus of an IPA, but very smooth. You know, some IPAs, you know, and the hops, it kind of shocks you. It's so strong, it's so bitter. This is almost silken. That's how good it is. I mean, it's great. It's just, I can tell you right off. It has that nice, it's just, this with a steak, or, there we go. What do you guys have? What do you guys like to eat with, when you're having a beer? You had a long week, you're watching your football game or baseball or whatever, and I like popcorn. And there's only one good popcorn. They're not sponsoring me. Don't worry about it. I have to buy this like you do. But I think the best dang popcorn is this Orville Redenbacher. Redenbacher. It always, do you ever get popcorn? And every time you do it, it burns in the microwave. I am famous for stinking. I got a huge house here in Colorado, stinking up the whole house, burning popcorn. I know I'm the only one, right? You've never done that. Okay. I am famous for burning popcorn, but I find it impossible to burn Orville Redenbacher. It fills up the whole bag. I already poured a bowl for my wife, and excuse me, I'm hungry and I like to eat. I like to eat something when I'm having a beer. And I particularly love popcorn. Good stuff. Sorry to eat in front of you. Hope I'm making you hungry. I'm saving my appetite. I did a lot of running and swimming and work today. I actually wrote a chapter in my new book, which I might share with you. Oh, and I have a movie tip too. Do you ever hear of a movie that you wanted to, you don't know much about it. You saw the trailers, but you know you want to see it. How many of you guys out there are Martin Scorsese fan? Tell me you guys don't love Goodfellas. Okay. Tell me that isn't the movie you could see 10, 20 times. I have. I love that movie. Ray Latito, he just passed away too. The head character in there. Maybe I'm saying his name wrong. Help me. Like I said, I need help here. Let me share my screen here again. Believe it or not, I do a little preparation here. Let me see if I can find my notes here. No, we're not going to do it that way. We'll do it this way. We're just going to share the desktop and oh boy, let me have another sip of this beer. That is one great beer. Wow, that is worth $10. I would call it a sipping beer, not a gulping beer. This is a gulper. Hot summer day, you just mowed the lawn. You toss this back in little grenade bottles or whatever, and 2-3 sips, it's gone because you're so thirsty. This is not that kind of beer. Okay, this is a sipping beer. This is one you just want to enjoy. You want to have it. I have it in a nice wine glass here. Another sacrilege. I'm sure this is upsetting to a lot of people. Let me find that Martin Scorsese thing I wanted to show you guys about. Oh, here it is. It's Killers of the Flower Moon. This is an article in the New Yorker, and he did The Wolf of Wall Street also, and other things. And and it's a really good interview. Let me see if I can find the trailer for this. Killers of the Moon, of the Flower Moon. And this just came out yesterday. It's about discovering oil and the Native American tribes in Oklahoma.
My color.
I love anything from Scorsese.
They have the worst land possible.
Look who's in this thing. De Niro.
The land had oil on it. Black gold. Money flows freely here now. You blow that money, sir. This wealth should come to us. Their time is over. It's going to be another tragedy.
When just
Yeah, that was it. I just wanted to show you that. Let's go back to my screen here. Let's get out of share. It's anything from Scorsese I like. I don't agree with the guy politically or anything else, but I love his movies, and he's in his 80s now, and he's still making really good, really great movies on it. Once again, it is called Killers of the Flower Moon, and you can just go on to YouTube and watch the trailer. It looks like everybody's in there. I mean, it's when you got great actors, great director, and it's a Western. I love Westerns. I'll share a little something. I love Westerns. I read 2-3 books a week, and usually one of them is a Western. I use Kindle, I use Audible, I use Hoopla, I use Libby, I use all these things. Look, it's even a Mike Williams is going to join me today. How about that? By the way, tonight is taco night in the Diamond household. My wife, I use those tacos where you can basically, they're in a little stand. You can put them down. They have the wide bottom, not the curved bottom. And you can we use buffalo meat. Great. And then you put on that mixed Mexican cheese. I like those different cheeses, and lettuce, tomato, and some refried beans and good salsa. Cholula is mine. Oh, we're going to have that. I don't think this beer will last till dinner, which is still a healthy hour and away. Mike Williams, hello. I haven't seen you in a million years.
Yeah, Claude, it's been too long. I do apologize.
You don't write, you don't call. We're live on YouTube and everything like that. This is just a fun beer with Claude kind of thing. What are you drinking? Did you bring something with you?
Sure did.
What is it?
This is Pizza Port. It's called Ponto. It's something I can drink in the daytime. It's a session IPA. It prevents the helicopter from taking off. It's a good thing.
Yeah, what is it called again? Let me look it up.
It's called Ponto. Ponto, or Papa
Ponto.
Oscar November Tango Oscar.
Okay, and it's a session.
It's a session IPA.
IPA. Let's to see if where is it made? Do you know any? Oh, is that a Pizza Port?
Yes, it is.
Okay, wait, that's a California brewery, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Oh gosh, let me hold on. I'm going to share the screen here. I think I know this brewery. That's not from. There's another one right near it called Swami's.
Actually, that's also a Pizza Port beer.
Is that okay? Is it the same companies? Or am I naming the beer or the pizza or the okay, Pizza Port makes Swami's, right?
That's right.
There you go. Oh yeah. Swami's is great. It's a famous surfing place.
It is. It's
Is
also a religious retreat for gurus. And it's funny, one time, because we have such a high Navy concentration here, a Navy Seahawk was having engine trouble and ended up landing at Swami's. And the gurus came out and said, "I'm glad they dropped in, but next time, please drive."
Can you see that? Can you see the screen?
Sure can. Yep.
Look at that. That's that. Oh yeah. There we go. Are they in a Beach Boys? Are they in one of the Beach Boys songs?
I don't think they are. And it's funny because the pictures you're showing here,
Yeah.
with this break, this is actually more towards Oceanside. But I
Okay.
mean, there's all sorts of great places to be enjoying the water around here.
You see, sessionable India Pale. What is when you say session to me, it means a lower alcohol beer,
That's right.
right? Am I right?
Yep. Yep. That's it.
And you know what? It's like I'm drinking I'm a happy Claude right now. I mean, I'm drinking, and I don't eat. I do one meal a day, and I haven't eaten. I had a little bit of my Orville Redenbacher popcorn here, and now I'm on an empty stomach drinking a 7.0. That's a happy Claude moment.
Outstanding soldier. Yep.
Oh, this is a great beer. It's called Lunch. $8.99. Real success. It's from the Maine Beer Company. Great success story. About two brothers, and one was a lawyer, and the other brother said, let's start our own beer company. You don't want to be a lawyer all your life. And they started selling beer out of a cooler. I like Samuel Adams, I believe. That's how that company got started.
That's great. And if you understand some history about Samuel Adams, you'll understand there's definitely a lot of history in that.
Well, the legend, so it is I forget the name of the person who started it. His grandfather had a chest up in the attic with his beer recipe.
Okay.
And he copied the recipe, started making it, home brewing guy, and started saying, hey, let me take this around, see what other people think. And he started bringing it around to other bars and stuff. And they said, and this is back in the early days of, the brewing industry, home brewing, the craft brewing is very young. It's really not that old, but I think Sam Adams, how old could it be? 15 years?
I think something like that. Definitely.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So anyway, I just I do this once in a while. I just get on Zoom and YouTube and just blab about my week and everything. I'm writing a new book.
Great. Is it 2.0?
No, that
Okay.
will be out. My marketing book and package will be out Halloween, Thanksgiving I'm going to promote it Black Friday, but don't tell anyone.
I didn't hear a thing. No.
Even though I have 7,000 subscribers or 8,000 now on YouTube.
That's awesome.
Oh yeah, it's great. Here it's I'm writing I just got in the mood. When you do swimming laps and your mind is really clear because you don't have the headphones in or anything else. And I got this idea for a little Halloween story. I don't know if it's not a novel and it's not a short story. It's what they call a novella, I believe, somewhere in between.
Gotcha.
And it's about this guy and him and his best friend buy this house, and it needs a lot of repairs, and it's got a lot of bad stuff happens in this house, and they have to convert it into a profitable business venture. So I wanted to combine Halloween and real estate and sales into a little fun novel on there. I can show you a little. Would you like a little sneak preview here?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I'm gonna let's see if I can share my screen here. There we go. It was early October. Here's the opener. There'll be some editing. It was early October, my favorite time of the year. The brilliantly covered leaves, a certain crispness in the air, a little snow on the higher mountain peaks, and pumpkin beer plenty. I had to put beer in there.
Absolutely.
I was in the local mom and pop dive, the Fraser River Brewing Company, enjoying the $5 lunch special of thick and delicious red hot buffalo chili with a huge slab of over buttered thick Texas toast. I was washing it all down with a fresh made cold Colorado pumpkin ale in a monster 24-ounce glass. I was quietly thinking, why am I putting in food? You know me.
Well, yeah, I understand what you're doing here is you're going to make, you're taking the census. All right. I know what you're doing here. That's the secret power.
how do you, if you're, and I write books because they get me attention. I have I've written 9 books. Some are academic on real estate and on sales. And I've written The Mentor Teaches Success, The Mentor Teaches the Gut Sales Method. I'm no Hemingway by any stretch of the imagination. But when you write books and you distribute them or give pieces of them or convert them to audio and things like that, you get attention. People read your books, and then sometimes they call you up, they text you, they subscribe to you, you get attention, you get new clients. So I've always found that writing a book gives great, it's great marketing. And I like to write anyway. It's not a struggle for me. For some people, I know it's hard. It's writer's block and all that. Do you write, Mike?
I do. I sent you an email on something, and you commented that, yeah, I can actually write.
That's right. I forgot that was a while ago.
Yeah. Yeah, it was Memorial Day, but yeah, I shared something with you is pretty well, you're walking in my shoes. What I love about this when I read the front the first 2 paragraphs on this is, Claude, I want you to imagine that somebody was reading this and they'd be right there with you. And yes, I did say imagine. I do study, and I do appreciate everything you taught me.
Thank you. Let me read a little bit more here. I was in my local mom and pop dive, the Fraser River. We could read that already. I was quietly thinking about my most recent real estate deal when my meditation was interrupted by an overly enthusiastic "Howdy, partner" from Junior. Junior was my lifelong friend who I knew since we were kids in high school. He was a small guy for 17 years old. We met accidentally one day when I saw him being pummeled under the first floor staircase by the school sociopath and fat slob Joey Margulis. Everyone stayed away from Joey if they knew what was good for him. Joey was a slovenly 240-pound senior, way too large for a student. I think he was left back 1 or 2 times, and he resembled the Marvel comic book character Hulk. He also considered himself the local mafia collector leg breaker. He thought of himself as the godfather of Tabernash High School. I had heard about him before, but fortunately never had the opportunity to engage him. "Okay, Junior, where is my money? I got expenses, you know." "I told you, Joey, I don't have anything. I'm broke." "Well, then it looks like someone's going to get a beating until I get my lunch money. Look, just leave me alone." And it goes in to a bully. And I like stories that have bullies in them and stuff like that, where he's rescued by the hero, Max, who stands up to the bully. They become lifelong friends. Then we go 20 years later. They're both real estate investors.
Okay.
And this opportunity comes up to buy this house. And they figure out a very brilliant way of making this 6 or 8 bedroom. I haven't decided yet. It's 8 bedrooms. Give me some input. It's an 8-bedroom house. It looks like the Addams Family or
okay. So yeah, we're talking. I was thinking Victorian on that.
Yes,
as well.
Big Victorian, old.
Yeah.
8 bedrooms or 6? To help me out. What work?
I think it should be 6 with 2 hidden rooms.
Okay.
2 rooms they find during
See
renovation.
that? Oh, there we go. The hidden rooms. And I'm stealing a little from one of my favorite authors, Stephen King.
Okay.
Have you ever his third book, his first book was Carrie, that he threw out. His wife picked it out of the garbage. And him and his wife were living in a trailer. He was a part-time substitute teacher and working in a laundromat at night. They were really poor. They were poor, and they had a very sick child who needed very expensive medication. And so he wrote at night. And his first book was Carrie. She pulled it out. He mailed it, and I think he got a check for one publisher after sending 70, 80, 90 samples to them or whatever. And he got a check for like $10,000, which was like a couple of years' salary for him at that time.
Wow.
And just because his wife pulled it out of the garbage. And I think his third book was The Shining, which we all know was made in a movie, and it's based on a hotel here in Colorado.
Really?
Yes. Okay. The Stanley Hotel in Estes Park. I've been there. And it is a beautiful, manicured, spooky as hell hotel. If you've ever seen the movie The Shining. Have
I
you ever
have.
seen it?
Yep, sure have.
Okay, they really filmed it in this hotel. And when and I snuck upstairs to the hallway where remember the two little ghost girls who pop up at the end of the hallway, who were all these
Yeah.
people were murdered in this hotel. I kind of stole a few little things from Stephen King to put into this haunted house.
I'm glad you bring up The Shining, though, and the movie itself. There is such brilliance, not in front of the camera alone, but behind it. This scene when they're going through the maze in the snow, you understand that there is a cameraman with a live motion camera, which is an extremely large apparatus, going in the footsteps, walking backwards, so he could film that, so there wouldn't be any additional footprints.
Have you ever seen a movie being made?
I've seen parts of movies, but not, from start to finish. But I lived up in LA. Yeah.
Okay. I live in La La Land.
Yeah.
My daughter does voiceovers for companies and stuff, and she lives in LA.
I thought she was in New York. I thought she was on Broadway. She
was in New York. She moved.
Okay.
She got voiceovers. She does Panda Express, and she does commercials for a lot of really top companies now. She's in Japan right now on holiday.
Okay.
And then she does voiceovers for a lot of these really top companies. You ever hear the Panda Express commercial? That's my daughter's voice doing the voiceover for that commercial. I think
that's awesome.
Done, Intel, she's done Old Navy. She's done a lot of stuff.
It's funny you mentioned that. I just randomly, just from different groups I'm a part of, I had a person that does marketing and production reach out to me and said, "You have a great voice, and I'm recording a voice demo tonight to send to this person to see if she can get me a gig. It's a project she's working on." And she reached out to me last night and she said, "You have the perfect voice for this. Would you do a demo?"
You have a great voice.
It's funny. It's your voice all your life, right?
You have a great voice. It's just that, it's funny. I love audiobooks. I read 2-3 books a week.
Nice.
And I love Amazon has a thing called Whisper Sync. So you can either read the book in Kindle, or you can listen to it in Audible, or you can do both, which is great for me because in the evening I love to read, and during the day when I run or exercise, I love to listen. So it keeps in sync between the written and everything. And some authors that on books I bought from Audible, I can't listen to them. Their voice, in particular, I won't mention the name of the narrator, his voice irritates me.
I know exactly what you mean. I read a couple of books a month, and it's the same thing. If I get a certain person that's doing the voice on it, I'm like, "Oh, this is going to be a journey. All right, let's go."
Oh yeah. And so it's when they're filming a movie, it's you make it, and you've seen they're running through the maze or they're in the house and it's spooky and everything. There's about 25 people around them. You know that, don't you?
Yeah.
There's a cameraman. There's more than one cameraman. There might be 2 or 3 cameramen at the same time. There's people with the microphones. There's people in the sound room and everything. There's the director. There's the grip and the first boy and all these. There's a ton of people to make a movie. That's why they're so expensive to make. You ever wonder why these things cost millions and millions of dollars to make a movie? There's a lot of people involved. I was talking before you came on. Do you like Scorsese, Martin Scorsese?
Yes.
Yeah, they had a new movie that just came out yesterday. And I was talking about it earlier on this recording, and I can't wait to see it. It's about Oklahoma and the Indians discovering oil on their land, and it's kind of a cowboyish movie. turn of the century kind of thing. I love I love Westerns and cowboy book movies and stuff like that. You give me Native Americans, you give me a gunslinger or something. If I ever have another child, won't happen. I'm going to call him Shane. Okay.
All right. Have you ever been to Tombstone?
Yes. Oh my God. It's Tombstone. Interesting. I've seen every Tombstone. What is it at the OK Corral? I have seen every Tombstone movie ever made. Kevin Costner. Oh my God, there's like 8 or 9 OK Corral movies that have been made.
The interesting thing is, in the movie titled Tombstone, which I think, in my personal opinion, I love that movie. Not that it was completely historically accurate, but it was grand. It was grand. It was so big. Rutger Hauer, who played Doc Holliday in that movie, he's the only actor that's also played Wyatt Earp in another movie.
What's his name again? Which version? Which one was that?
Tombstone. This is the one starring Kurt Russell.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And the actor that played Doc Holliday, I believe it's Rutger Hauer.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, I gotta look that up.
But
I've seen it a long time ago. Yeah, I like the what's the one with the Doc Holliday? He was the guy who played Batman or something like
You're not talking Michael Keaton. No.
No, one of the other Batmans. Gosh, I wish we had for some reason I didn't do a lot of publicity for this tonight, so we don't have a lot of people. But usually I have a lot of people on it's this or that and everything helps me out. I love that too. What about Tombstone?
My wife and I, in a brilliant idea from San Diego, California, said, "Hey, let's just drive out. We just saw the Tombstone movie, the Kurt Russell Tombstone movie. Like, let's drive out there. Let's check it out in the middle of the frickin' summertime." Okay, so brilliant planning on my part.
120.
Yeah, and we get out there, and it's only a nice leisurely, like 12.5 hour drive from San Diego. And we ended up parking on the backside of the main street, and it was just this little dive hotel, but we were exhausted. At that point, it's like, we just need a bed. And that night we had dinner at the Bucket of Blood, and right across from the Bucket of Blood is the Crystal Palace. And I went into the Crystal Palace with my wife. It has
the bullet in the mirror behind the bar, right?
Yeah. And they have, of course, the actors there. And Doc Holliday was sitting at the end of the bar. And I asked the bartender, "Hey, you mind if I buy him a drink?" And I sat down with him, and I had a shot of whiskey with him and said, "Doc, you don't know me, but you're my hero."
Doc Holliday, I'm in Colorado. Hint. Where is Doc Holliday buried?
Oh, Colorado Springs, isn't it?
No. Gotta look it up. It's what's the name? They have a spa there and everything. He went there he had tuberculosis or something like that. Oh God, it's a canyon area. Doc, I'm Googling it now. Doc Holliday buried. What did we do before Google? My God. Glenwood Springs.
Oh, okay. I would have totally lost that on a multiple choice.
Glenwood Springs is right off Route 70.
Okay.
It's a beautiful place. It's a typical little Colorado old Western town. Teddy Roosevelt stayed there.
Okay.
And the teddy bear was invented there. One of the cleaning ladies or matrons of the Hotel Colorado knew the president was visiting, so she made him out of little scrap pieces of material a teddy bear that looked like him, and that's where the teddy bear for Teddy Roosevelt came from.
Wow.
So I love trivia.
Oh,
Doc Holliday though is buried in Glenwood Springs. Who was his best friend?
Well, it was Wyatt Earp, of course.
Wyatt Earp. He even wrote a book.
My Friend Doc Holliday.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I wanted to take you back for a second, Claude, because I love this book that you're writing, and I'll give you a personal experience of where I grew up. So when I was born in 1966 in Solana Beach, California.
I know Solana Beach.
And people would say, "Wow, you live all the way out in Solana Beach?"
All the way out?
in the 60s. Understand Solana Beach existed on the map for one reason. If you've been to Solana Beach, you've probably been to the Belly Up, which is a very large bar. They have a lot of
I've been to the monastery. Is it a monastery? Not a monastery, the Buddhist temple there. There's that gigantic Buddhist temple that's there, isn't it? Yes.
that's Encinitas. That's Swami's you're talking about.
Is that what it is? Okay.
Yeah.
They're right next to each other, though.
They're close. I mean, it's just down 101. But Solana Beach during World War II, their war effort, they manufactured aviator helmets.
Oh.
And so that's why you still see the Quonset huts along 101.
Yeah.
And Belly Up's right next to it. Now, what's interesting is all the houses, all the original houses, which were beach facing going up the hill, were made out of concrete and rebar. They were there to house the workers that worked at the aircraft manufacturing plant. And it was quite intentional because right next to the train tracks. I lived in one of those original houses.
Really?
And we were the second people that lived in that house. The first people, their name were Mr. and Mrs. Grove. And Mrs. Grove, what she used to love to do every day is to walk down to the beach. In order to do that, she had to cross the train tracks. One day she was crossing the train tracks coming back home, and she got hit by a train. She was killed.
Wow.
When we moved in, and I was, of course, born and raised in this house, lights would turn on in the middle of the night.
Oh,
The
yeah.
record
Okay.
player
I love it.
would just
Haunted house.
turn on out of nowhere. And my mom, and being that I'm second generation American, my grandparents immigrated from Hungary, there's old beliefs. And so what my mom had learned and what she grew up with is if there are spirits in the house, you welcome them, you say hello to them.
They don't necessarily have to be evil. I have
That's
been in
right.
houses that things go bump in the night, and it's spooky. It's crazy. I stayed in a house in Chittenton, Vermont. It was an old revolutionary house with it was so old it had a graveyard in the backyard, a regular house with its own family graveyard in the back.
Wow.
Yeah. I remember I stayed in this one room. Nobody told me this was the room.
Okay.
It was an old wooden house. I mean, it was a ski house. We used to go to Killington skiing in Vermont, but we stayed in this house. And I remember one night I woke up, I got out, and they were bunk beds, and I got out of the bunk bed and I walked around. I don't know why. And then I came back to the bed and I saw myself in the bed. And that's called an out-of-body experience. And I was as awake as I am right now. I'm just walking around. Okay, well, let me just go back to bed. And then go back to bed. Can you imagine going back to bed and seeing yourself laying in bed?
That would be, yeah.
Isn't that a spooky story? With Halloween coming up, okay. You're bringing out the best in me. Thank you.
It's interesting.
I love spooky stories.
I call it a resonance or a vibration, from certain places, and it can bring out other things that would normally be, hidden, right? And what I'm referring to, I'll give you another example. So before I was a medic in the Army, I worked as a veterinary technician up in LA.
Wow.
I was playing as a professional musician, but my paying gig was I worked as a veterinary technician. I was the overnight tech. So if there was an emergency, guess what? That was mine. And I'll never forget, we had this. And so I would normally rotate in about 4:00 in the afternoon so I could get a clean handoff from the day crew, because I was the only guy at night. I manned the facility. And so if there was a critical emergency, I'd be the one who'd be setting up for triage, trauma, surgery, whatever needed to happen. I'll never forget, as I came in early to be part of this rotation, we had a dog that came in that was really busted up, and we got it under anesthesia, and we're cauterizing, trying to keep it from bleeding out. And went into cardiac arrest, and I'm giving it CPR. So I got one hand on the anesthesia, and I got my other hand pumping this dog, trying to get his heart going again. And all of a sudden, it was like electricity that were going through my hands, and I couldn't do anything. And the veterinarian, he's yelling at me saying, "Why did you stop?" I said, "I can't explain this, but I got electricity going through my hands. I
Oh,
can't do anything."
St. Elmo's fire right through your fingers, right?
And he just stopped. He's like, "It's gone. Don't worry about it." I mean, this guy'd been a veterinarian for like 30 years. So
I love stories like this. I tell you what, this is like, yeah, I used to be a big fan of Art Bell.
okay.
Okay.
Oh my gosh, that is a piece of history.
That is
And
a big,
now,
he was
time
in
for the rest of the story.
Pahrump, Nevada, outside Vegas. Okay. And this guy would come on at 12 o'clock at night till 3, 4 in the morning. He broadcast out of his house. He became a phenomenon, and he was syndicated and everything. I mean, he had a
Well,
million
NPR
followers.
picked him up and it blew him up. Yeah.
And he would talk about nothing but UFOs and strange phenomenon and the Yeti and the abominable snowman. And he would, if it was weird, he would talk about it. And this guy was the best talk show host ever. You know, he passed away about 5 years ago, I think.
Wow.
And he broadcast out of his home doing something he loves. You know, that's the thing. I always look for, I always think about, are people, can you do something you love and still drink really good beer, or still pay your bills and enjoy life? You know, can you have that perfect storm, you know?
Yeah.
Absolutely. I love your beer. What else was I going to talk about tonight? I actually made notes here. What's your favorite? Are you a Scorsese fan? Do you like Goodfellas?
Absolutely.
Isn't that one of the best movies? The music, everything. And Scorsese has a new movie that just came out yesterday. With oh God, let me see if I can find it here. It was called Killers of the Flower Moon. Okay, it's kind of a more modern Western, or turn of the century Western. I can't wait to see that. I'm a Scorsese fan, absolutely.
Well, the Goodfellas, it's interesting what he did before he went into actually creating that movie. Is he got very, very academic, and he also, there was definitely a certain amount of risk and danger behind what he did, because he wanted to understand so much behind this so he could portray things accurately.
Oh. This movie, my understanding, they changed the script at the very end here. There's a great article in the New Yorker on this. They had to change the ending. It's not, it was a very popular book, written, I think, in 2005 or something. And they had, what do they call it? The screenplay. And they had to change it around a couple times to get it made the way he wanted it.
Interesting.
Yeah. They took it from the perspective of the Native Americans, not the oil guys who wanted the land and everything like that. So I'm looking forward to this. So how you been, man? Before we go, bring me up to date. How's your world? You good?
It's good.
We're in a public format here right now, just to let you know.
Yeah, I totally understand. Mondays, my wife, she's working. She's also a vet tech, so she works Mondays and Fridays. Unfortunately, right when I would love to be part of the Monday meetings that we do. So I've been relying on the recordings. I really do appreciate you those.
Did you hear the Monday one last Mondays? I thought it was one of the best, because I had a couple of my successful G.U.T.S licensees, students, who are training and coaching. And they were talking about, they talked a lot about things that most gurus will not talk about. It was some great conversation.
I'm going to go back and check that out, because no,
Absolutely.
I have not listened to that one.
You should be a coach. You'd be great at it. You have such a worldly experience. You'd be great sharing your philosophy with people, your experiences, both good and bad.
Well, and that's the thing, and it's something that you've talked about in other meetings, and it's to have a brand. And that's a challenge because I know, well,
The Mike Williams story.
it's something where I've been reading in terms of you want to have a brand, and you want to have a brand that's very specific. And Claude, I don't really fit in a box. And
then throw away the box. You don't have to do anything anybody else tells you to do. Or look at all oh boy, I'm going to get this is where I'm. See, I should never drink and talk about what I'm going to talk about next on the thing. We're hearing so much. I'm going to be very careful here because I like to bring people together, not apart. But we hear so much crap, and I know you and I are on the same wavelength on stuff like this. But there's so much garbage out there, and people are so easily manipulated and influenced by all this media we have now and all these little devices and everything. And they think they should walk around in ripped jeans. They think they should put hubcaps in their earlobes and 13 rusty nails in their left nostril and things like that.
You're so right.
I think, what did Shakespeare say? To all things to thine own self be true. I think people like people who do their own thing, who say, I'm not going to do what everybody else does. This is the way I'm going to do it. And I think there's a lot of people are very attracted to that kind of personality.
Well, I give you one word, Claude, and I saw this from the first time I had a chance to talk with you. It's authenticity.
What a great word. Authentic, accountable, approachable. I love that. Authenticity, transparent, honest. Can you be totally honest with people without pissing them off all day long?
And that's something I tap dance around, not butt hurting people. Okay. But yeah, it's when you can be truly authentic and, respectful at the same time. I mean, unfortunately, words have been weaponized, and I'm very careful about how I use them.
Yeah. What's the last thing you're going to do at a Thanksgiving dinner at a family reunion? Bring in politics, religion, sex, or the latest diet, right?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Did you ever go to a dinner party and the Trump word came up? Both, no matter how you feel about it, if you loved him or hate him, if you with 25 people and grandma in the kitchen and everything, and somebody brought that up, that Trump word, oh my God, it triggers people, positive and negative on both sides. I don't care which side you're on. But it was amazing to me how a most peaceful family setting could.
Yeah, all of a sudden polarization occurs.
Yeah.
I'll give you.
Have we lost the ability to? I'm sorry to interrupt you. Have we lost the ability to have civilized conversation, respectful, your word, conversation?
I think, yeah, absolutely. 100% agree with that. We've lost the ability to discuss with somebody that has an alternate point of view without making it an argument. And I think there's something very sad about that.
We forgot how to listen and maybe respect somebody else's point of view.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And people are, you notice when you ever have a conversation with somebody and you want to be patient and listen, and you say the wrong thing, when they don't have facts or anything to back up, they usually get very emotional. You ever notice when people get emotional, that means they don't have a factual argument, do they?
Agreed.
Yeah.
Dangerous. Please.
That's the only thing they can revert to is that explosiveness, and everything.
I give you one other.
Ben Shapiro. What is it? Ben Shapiro. He says, what your emotions. What does he always say? Your facts have meaning. Your emotions don't mean anything, or something like that. Your emotions are not facts. Something to that effect.
It's interesting you say that, but I'll give you the other side of that coin. And this is in particular, I've learned this from interacting with my wife and taking care of her mom, is you will never ever win an emotional argument with logic. Dude, you're done before you begin.
I have a friend from Louisville, Kentucky. He said, never get into a pissing match with a skunk.
I love it.
You'll never win. I'm going to end on this high note here today. I'm so glad to see you. Would you do me a favor and schedule with me? And if you can't find a time, send me a text and I'll just make tell me what times you are available and I'll change things around. I want to catch up with you.
Claude, thank you so much for your time. You
Love
have a
the
great
t-shirt,
Saturday.
Batman.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Well, normally I start my days at 4:30 a.m. supporting this company. It's overseas. So I'm in a dark room and I figured the best thing I can do is wear a Batman t-shirt. So
Batman.
yeah.
I'm so old. How old are you? Same bat time.
Same bat place.
The channel.
Oh, you're right.
Yes.
Same bat channel.
Yes.
Channel
Absolutely.
13. I grew up on it. Love
Yeah,
it.
and I want to thank everybody who's been watching. We have a bunch of people on YouTube and everything. I want to thank Mike Williams for jumping on. I want to thank the Maine Beer Company for if you guys want to sponsor me or send me free beer, I work cheap. I love your beer. No matter what, you don't have to send me anything. Your beer is fantastic, guys. Keep doing whatever you're doing. And Mike, you have a beer from what company again?
It's from Pizza Port.
Pizza Port.
Yes.
Yes. Well-known Southern California. That is San Diego County still.
Yes. San
That's
Diego,
South,
California.
and that's by Solana Beach, that area, right? That is a great little beach, a surfing beach town. That is a great area.
It's still somewhat mellow. It's a great place.
There you go. There you go. Anyway, so remind me next time we talk on Beer with Claude to talk about my Brian Williams story. Brian Williams from the Beach Boys actually called my house.
Wow.
Yeah, I actually spoke to Brian Williams one day. It's another story for another time. It's a true story. He's a great guy. He's a super guy. And I'll tell that, remind me, and I'll tell that story. You have a great weekend, young man.
You too, Claude.